Most people think boredom is something you escape from, but I think we should learn from boredom. So I want to start with a study that might sound funny at first. So there's a study where the researchers asked people to sit alone in the room for 6 to 15 minutes. No phone, no book, no music, no one to talk to. The instruction was simple. Just sit there and entertain yourself with your own thoughts. But there was one thing in the room, a button. And if they press the button, they would receive mild electric shock. Now, before the experiment, these people had already said they would pay money to avoid that shock. So you will think nobody will press it, right? It's only a few minutes, just sit, think, and wait. But in one condition of the study, 67% of men and 25% of women chose to shock themselves. And this is the part that I cannot stop thinking about. Because this is not really a story about electric shocks. This is a story about how uncomfortable we are when there's nothing to distract us. Some people would rather feel physical discomfort than sit alone with their own mind. And if you really think about it, actually that's what we do all the time. Every single day. We just use a different button, our phone. Every time there is a small empty moment, we press something, waiting for elevator, we check messages, waiting for food, we scroll, waiting for a red light for 15 seconds. Somehow, that already feels too long. Even when we are not looking for anything specific, we still open the phone. Not because we need information, but because silence feels uncomfortable. But what if the silence, the boredom, is not something we need to delete? What if boredom is actually something we need to learn? Because boredom is not simply I have nothing to do. That is the wrong way to understand it. Boredom is more like uncomfortable state where you want to be engaged but nothing is available. You are not exactly resting, but you are also not focused. You feel restless but somehow tired. You want something but you do not know what that something is. That is why boredom feels so annoying. It puts you in a strange middle place. You're not fully relaxed, but you're also not fully active. That is where the phone becomes dangerous. Not because phones are evil, phones are useful, the internet is useful, content can be useful, but there's a big difference between using technology as a tool and using a technology as anesthesia. What if I tell you boredom is actually a signal? It tells you that something in your current state is not working. Maybe the task is meaningless, maybe the environment is wrong, maybe your attention has become too dependent on stimulation, or maybe your life is full of activity but not enough direction. When you feel bored, the mind is always asking a question. Is this really what I want to be doing? This is why constantly escaping boredom can make life feel more hollow. Every time boredom appears, it brings a message. But if the phone interrupts that message immediately, you never hear it. You only hear the next video, the next notification, the next piece of noise. We are looking for escape. Your phone is not just stealing your time, it's stealing your boredom. And when it steals your boredom, it steals something deeper. It steals the space where meaning is built. Because meaning does not usually arrive when you're busy. Meaning does not usually arrive when you're consuming 300 pieces of content in 1 hour. Meaning does not usually arrive when your brain is jumping from one notification to another. Meaning arrives in the gap, in the walk, in the shower, in the commute, in the gym session without music, in the quiet morning before the world asks something from you, in the night when you are not numbing yourself with a screen. That is where your life starts making sense. But we have removed all the gaps. We no longer let life breathe. Every empty seconds become content. Every silence becomes noise. Every uncomfortable feeling becomes a swipe. And then we wonder why we feel hollow. So this is why you need to get bored. Let your mind wander. Let your thoughts become messy. Let the uncomfortable questions appear. Because the question you are avoiding might be the question that saves your life. Maybe you're not lazy. Maybe your mind is just overloaded. Maybe you're not lost. So to make this video more concrete and how can you use boredom to your advantage, try this. Tomorrow or after this video, no podcast, no music, no motivational speech, just you, your breath, your reps, your thoughts. At first, it will feel weird. You feel like something is missing. But after a while, your brain will start opening up. You will think about your relationship differently. You will think about your problem differently. The point of this exercise is to let your mind be uncomfortable. The discomfort is not always a bad sign. Sometimes it is your brain detoxing from constant stimulation because we confuse peace with boredom. We confuse silence with loneliness. We confuse stillness with wasting time. But not every empty moment needs to be filled. And you need some rules in your life because without rules, your old bad habit will always win. One basic rule that you need to follow: no phone in your room. Because the first thing you touch in the morning should not be a device that belongs to everybody else. Second rule, no phone when you eating, especially with people that you love. Third rule, make a time block where you cannot use your phone. It might sound dumb, but trust me. If you get anything from this video, remember this. Boredom is where the mind cleans itself. Boredom is where ideas are born. Boredom is where the truth comes up. Boredom is where you start asking what matters, who matters, what am I building, what am I avoiding, what kind of life am I actually creating. And maybe those questions are uncomfortable, but it's very necessary. So from now on, if there's a boredom coming to your brain, make friends with it. You don't need more noise, you need more meaning. And sometimes meanings begins with boredom. Stay classy.